Hey guys, it's me, Maggie J, bringing you Florida's Finest, a collection of the greatest news stories the state of Florida could generate. I know there's been a lot of stories circulating, but I've covered all the ones that matter and chosen the best ones, or the worst ones, however you want to look at it. Let's start with the most truthful criminal of the month. Florida man attempts to kill neighbors with kindness. If I hadn't found 400 articles about this, I would think it was a story from The Onion. But I am not joking you when I tell you kindness was the name of his machete. Apparently, neighbors had been hearing loud noises and yelling coming from the residence of Brian Stewart all day on January 13th, and were concerned for the woman and young child who also live at the residence. Around midnight, neighbors heard a verbal threat from Stewart that he was going to, quote, kill him with kindness, and two neighbors approached the house. Stewart pointed his machete at the two as they approached. One neighbor stepped forward and put his hand up, and Stewart brought down his machete onto the arm of his neighbor. Luckily, this was not a life-changing injury, and police showed up soon after to take Stewart into custody. But it was a struggle. Authorities report Stewart smelled strongly of alcohol, required a stun gun to get him into the back seat of the cruiser, and once inside, he bashed his own head against the cage. Police note his machete had the word kindness written on it, so I guess he was completely correct in his declaration of using kindness as a weapon. However, I do not suggest or recommend this kind of on-the-nose commitment of crimes. How am I supposed to make any jokes if they're this friggin' obvious? And on to the biggest liar. Florida man leaves note for police to let him finish his job. Flagler County sheriffs had an active warrant for Jesse Pack of Bunnell, and he knew about it and even left a note for those looking for him, letting them know he was just trying to finish up a job. And then he turned himself into Volusia County. Written in orange marker on a mattress, the classiest form of correspondence, police really didn't give a damn, and they searched the residence anyway. I didn't expect them to find anything, but lo and behold, they found Pack hiding inside a dresser at the residence. I thought you were out working, Jesse. No wonder the police have no patience for the excuses of these criminals. They're full of lies. Do not report to work. Go directly to jail. The most uncomfortable criminal. Florida woman stashes stolen watches in her vagina. This sordid tale starts off on the night of January 8th at a Miami Beach nightclub called Mangoes. It is alleged that Deloria Brookins met a man there at the nightclub, and the two made their way back to Clarion Suites later that night. While the gentleman was in the bathroom, he claims Brookins, along with a Crown Royal bag that had 5 Rolex watches in it, went running from the room. The man chased her, had a physical altercation with her, and she left him in a heap. Hotel employees contacted police, and they found Brookins in a nearby alley. Once in custody, Brookins acted like a fool, biting and spitting on officers, banging her head on the side of the car, and kicking at the windows. She also later urinated on the floor inside a holding cell at the jail, so they added criminal mischief to the charges of grand theft, resisting an officer with violence, battery, and possession of cocaine. Police found one of the Rolexes. Is it still Rolex if it's plural? I don't know. Whatever. They recovered one watch at the scene. The other 4 were not recovered until a strip search was performed at the jail, and, well, you know exactly where they were found. In her hoo-ha! Ladies of the world, your vagina is not a pocket. Stop abusing her in that way! The best beatdown. Florida man masturbates outside teen's window, gets beat up by ex-NFL player. On January 14th, former NFLer Tony Beckham was outside his Palm Beach County home when he saw Jeffrey Cassidy crouched in the bushes outside his 14-year-old daughter's window. Beckham knew she had just showered and would have been in her room getting dressed. He said he saw Cassidy with his hand in his pants, making a motion that would be consistent with masturbating, and even his butt was hanging out of his pants. So he yelled at Cassidy, who tried to run away. Yeah, run away from a defensive cornerback. That's going to be successful. Beckham chased and tackled Cassidy and worked him over pretty well until the sheriff's department arrived. Cassidy claims his car had broken down and he was only hanging out in the bushes because he was waiting for his car to cool down. But he wouldn't or couldn't tell officers where his car was, nor could he provide a phone number or home address. He was hauled off, first to see medical professionals, then on to jail where he is being charged with lewd and lascivious exhibition. Wow, what a great dad moment. Well, not great, but vindicating. He got the bad guy and beat him to a pulp in his own front yard. Good on you, Beckham. Don't forget to keep your curtains closed, y'all. These pervs out here are not afraid. The biggest dumbass. Florida man attacks roommate over girlfriend's nude photos.
Spoken!
Donovan Lee Foster and William Melton moved in together just a few days before Christmas. For some reason, Foster showed Melton naked pictures of his girlfriend. In the early hours of Christmas morning, Foster was on the phone with his girlfriend, I'm assuming on speakerphone, because somehow Melton spoke to the girlfriend, letting her know he'd seen her nudes. Her boyfriend, Foster, quickly hung up the phone and told Melton, quote, "You are going to die today." Foster is accused of grabbing 2 knives from his bedroom, so they were probably decorative, and attacking Melton, breaking his nose and stabbing him in the arms and neck, causing at least 7 wounds in 2 different attacks. Foster called his girlfriend after these attacks, I guess to let her know he'd protected her honor by stabbing a guy he'd showed her nudes to, and she told him to take Melton to the hospital. Pasco County sheriffs took Foster into custody a short time later at the hospital, where he says Melton made snide comments about his girlfriend, and that's why he attacked him, and that he'd only cut him in the arms.
Oh, good for you!
I guess we're supposed to think highly of him for that, but whatever. He's being charged with premeditated attempted murder and violating parole. You might want to find a new boyfriend, girlfriend lady, because this one sounds like he's nothing but problems.
I got a lot of problems!
And dude, how dare you show your roommate your girlfriend's nudes, you jackass? Those are supposed to be private. I hope your next girlfriend sees this and you never get sent a nude ever again. The saddest story of the month. Man, it's hard out here on the streets. Florida woman shot after $5 blowjob. An unidentified Jacksonville woman was shot at a gas station on January 22nd after she claims she'd given the dude a little oral delight for $5 and a sleeve of Pringles. She was smart enough to collect her money before performing the act, but when she'd finished, the man demanded his $5 back, then shot her in the shoulder. I have about 5 jokes that I can apply here, but the more that I think about how desperate a woman must be to do that to a stranger for about $7.28, keep your head up out there, y'all. At least you're not in that woman's shoes. But if you ever find that you are, I hope you're better at it than she is. The worst story of the month. Florida teen attacks mother with Molotov and a bat. On January 22nd, a Florida woman was asleep in her bed when her 17-year-old son allegedly threw a homemade Molotov cocktail at the ceiling in her bedroom and struck her several times with a baseball bat while the Molotov rained down on top of them. One article I found also said he then retrieved a knife from the kitchen and stabbed his mother in the abdomen. The woman was able to escape and can be heard on the 911 call begging them to hurry because he was right behind her. Oh. The boy says his mother was mad at him about his attitude, his social media use, and sneaking out at night. He says he only wanted to hurt her, not kill her, but I really don't give a shit what his intentions were. If you attack your mother, I think you have to go live somewhere else. Like, maybe prison. This monster is being charged with attempted murder and making a destructive device with the intent to do harm. He may be charged as an adult, but he'll probably be out before too long, though, because, according to his public defender, he gets good grades and has no criminal record, and this is Broward County. I wish I could give this mother a hug. I'm sure she's trying her best, but it doesn't sound like she's got much support, and that's not helping her or her son. Best of luck, Mom. The best story of the month. Florida State Trooper saves a life on Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Highway Patrol got a call on January 13th about a suspicious man standing on the bridge that spans from Pinellas to Sarasota County. Trooper Tabari Sullivan approached the man, who was sitting on the wall with one leg hanging off the side. The man was upset about some family issues and not being able to see his children. The two continued talking, and within a few minutes the man was no longer straddling the barrier wall. The trooper took the chance and tackled the man, pinning him to the ground until more assistance arrived. Congratulations to Trooper Sullivan. I guarantee that man will thank you one day. Just about every story I've read from a suicide survivor, they express gratitude that they were unsuccessful, that they realized elimination wasn't the answer. And those are some really powerful testimonials. It's getting easier to find help for those of us feeling overwhelmed, and many times, all one needs to do is ask for help. If you're feeling this way ever, please ask for that help. As cliche as anything can be, life really is worth living. And here is our Florida Woman of the Month. Florida woman uses poop to ruin little girl's birthday party. This story is disgusting, so stop eating if that's what you're doing. I'll ease you into it. Heather Carpenter is a substitute teacher at an elementary school in Sarasota. One of the children in her class, the daughter of the principal, scheduled a birthday party and invited everyone in the class, including the substitute teacher and her daughter. The teacher and the principal were having some kind of professional disagreement, and Carpenter said she wasn't happy with the outcome. So around 6:30, the morning of December 1st, Carpenter, wearing gloves and a surgical mask, poured a cup of human waste, number 1 and number 2, all over every table at a grill at a pavilion at Urfer Family Park, where the little girl's party was scheduled. We know it was Carpenter because someone saw her, and she admitted it to Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, and she is now officially the most disgusting woman alive. Carpenter is being charged with felony criminal mischief and property damages. Sarasota Parks and Rec have had to replace all the tables and grills at the cost of $2,300, so don't worry about any poop remains at the park. I'm just so appalled by every step of this crime. Did she do her business right into the cup she was using? Or did she go and then put it into the cup, which makes her a dirty poop scooper? And you know she had to go buy special equipment for this endeavor. And what inspires anyone to use their own materials for this kind of decoration? Above all, what the hell was the fight about with the principal? I mean, no matter what it was, there is no excuse for literally shitting all over a little girl's birthday party. But I'm still curious. And the king, Florida Man of the Month. Florida man claims syringes found in his butt are not his. I'm a day late on this story because I had a different podcast to work on yesterday, but I have to thank Florida man himself for sending me this story. I don't think you need much more than the headline to figure out the rest of the story, but here's the details anyway. Wesley Dasher Scott was arrested January 4th on a drug warrant and taken to Pinellas County Jail. While being processed, he was asked if he had any contraband, yada yada yada, to which he said no. But during the strip search, Scott himself removed 3 syringes from his butthole and handed them over to the deputies, saying he found them and they weren't his. I'd like to make a bunch of confused faces, but this is a podcast, so I know that will not help any of you understand the level of astonishment, surprise, confusion, appall, and odd wonder I am filled with. As so many times before, I have so many questions, and I don't want the answers to any of them. I'm going to come up with a term that encompasses this WTF feeling I'm so often filled with, but one just for us here in Florida. Scott is facing charges of possession of prescription drugs with intent to sell, possession of drugs without a prescription, possession of marijuana, and introducing contraband into a county detention facility. There is my list of the most entertaining stories for January 2019. But I'm always interested to hear what stories other people like. So leave me a comment and tell me your favorite story of the year so far. I hope this was entertaining enough for you to share, and if you'd like more Florida-based news and coverage of dumbass criminals, I have an account on almost every social media network there is, plus a SoundCloud where I post the Today in Florida podcast a couple of times a week. Just search up Only Maggie J from wherever you are, or go to onlymaggieJ.com, and I'm sure you can figure it out from there. I've got to get busy working on a new episode of that, so y'all stay safe out there. Keep your name out of the news cycle, and don't forget to be awesome.